Have you ever realized that the more you try to make something happen, the further it seems to run from you? The harder you pull the strings, the more annoyed and tired you get. The more scared you are of losing, the more that fear steals your calm. In the end, you're not really tired of life itself, but of always trying to keep everything under control. Today, I want to invite you to look at this in a new way. It's not about giving up on what you want, but about learning to stop pushing so hard to reach it. It's about wishing for things in a peaceful, sure, and gentle way. Think about what you've been chasing so strongly. Maybe a new job, true love, or a more comfortable life. Now ask yourself honestly, why do I want this so much? What do I believe will change when I finally get it? And most of all, what's keeping it from coming to me now? Maybe the issue isn't what you want, but how much pressure you've placed on that wish. That's what we're going to talk about today. When you loosen your grip, life begins to move again. Not by luck, but because things start to flow naturally when you stop blocking the way with worry and fear. Say it out loud and mean it. Today, everything is beginning to fall into place. It might sound simple, but that's the first step. To stop trying to control every little thing and allow good things to reach you. Before we continue, I just ask two quick things. Give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. That way, this message can find others who also want to make a change. Now, let's keep going. 1. Those who trust, flow. Those who distrust, freeze. Life is always moving. Everything in it changes, grows, and takes new forms, but the human mind fears this movement. And when it tries to resist, pain appears. Distrust is the tension that blocks the natural rhythm of life. It turns every step into uncertainty, every decision into worry, and every relationship into defense. Trust, on the other hand, is walking softly even when you don't know what's ahead. It means accepting the unknown not as an enemy, but as a necessary part of the path. Epictetus once said, "What troubles us are not the events themselves, but the opinions we have about them." And distrust is exactly that. It's a twisted way of seeing reality. It makes you believe in dangers that don't exist, question real chances, and find threats where there's only room to learn. A suspicious mind builds walls around itself, and inside those walls, nothing grows. To trust doesn't mean being foolish. It means being clear-headed enough to move calmly, even knowing that you can't control everything. Real confidence is born from having faced uncertainty and survived. Think about how many times you thought you wouldn't manage, and still did. How many times fear almost stopped you, but life kept going anyway. That's what trust teaches. It's not about having promises, but about remembering that you've overcome before and can do it again. A trusting mind is flexible. It bends, it adapts. It sees that surprises aren't the end, just the next step in the story. Seneca said, "He who fears the future suffers twice, once in imagination and once in reality." And that's what distrust is, pain that comes before anything even happens. It's an effort to protect yourself from something that doesn't exist yet. But this habit only weakens you, because all the energy you could use to think clearly is wasted fighting shadows in your head. To trust is to be fully present. It's to look at what's real without exaggeration or fear, and still keep moving. It's like a river. It doesn't need to know where it ends to keep flowing. It simply moves forward, going around rocks, following turns, and respecting nature's timing. And in the end, it always reaches the sea. Human trust works the same way. The more you fight the flow, the more you get tired. The more you move with it, the farther you go. This doesn't mean trusting everyone or everything blindly. The Stoics taught awareness, not innocence. Trust starts with believing in yourself, your strength, your choices, and your power to face whatever appears. When this inner base is steady, life outside becomes simpler. You don't need to control the future. You just need to trust that you'll know how to handle it when it arrives. Picture someone crossing a bridge. If they trust, they walk steady, careful, but calm. If they distrust, they look down, feel dizzy, and every step becomes shaky. The bridge doesn't change, only the way they walk does. Life is like that. It doesn't demand that you rush or dominate it, only that you stay present. Trust is the invisible bridge that connects where you are to where you're going. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept what fate brings and move forward with courage." He knew that trust is the soil where peace grows. People who trust don't need to know everything. They just need to know they're doing what's right. Even when they fall, they understand that each fall teaches what impatience never would. Distrust locks you inside the walls of worry. Trust quietly sets you free. When you trust, your mind slows down, your body eases, and your inner voice becomes clear. Life begins to cooperate because your energy changes. You stop acting out of fear and start acting with understanding. The world opens its doors to those who meet it with courage, not resistance. Trusting means moving forward, even when the water looks cloudy. It's believing that beneath the chaos, there's a steady rhythm guiding everything. And when you finally follow that rhythm, you see that life was never fighting you. It was only waiting for you to stop fighting it. So when fear tries to freeze you, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I trust. Not because everything is under your control, but because even when it's not, you are still complete. And that completeness is what makes life keep flowing. 2. Lack attracts more lack. There's a kind of energy that most people don't even notice, yet it shapes everything they attract. It's the energy of not having. When your mind only pays attention to what's missing, the love that didn't come, the money that didn't show up, the recognition that never arrived, you fall into a constant feeling of emptiness. The problem isn't wanting something, it's living from a sense of absence, waking up every day feeling that something important is missing, and letting that thought rule your emotions, actions, and choices. Epictetus once said that people aren't upset because of things themselves, but because of the way they think about them. And one of the most harmful thoughts you can have is, I'll only be happy when... This kind of thinking builds a silent trap. The more you focus on what's missing, the more you convince yourself that you're someone who never has enough. It's like the old story of two small creatures walking the same path. The first one, a fly, always lands on dirty spots. She sees garbage everywhere, hears only noise, and finds faults in everything. When someone asks what she found along the way, she answers with disgust, "Nothing good, only trash." The second, a bee, walks the same road, but stops only where there are flowers. She sees color, feels fragrance, and notices life all around. When asked what she saw, she smiles and says, "The most beautiful flowers of the season." What's the difference between the two? The world was the same, the way they looked at it wasn't. That's how our minds work. Whatever you focus on grows stronger. If you only notice what's missing, you'll start believing that nothing is ever enough. But if you start paying attention to what already exists, to what you can still build, to the beauty that's already blooming near you, everything starts to change. A mind stuck in lack can't see doors opening, it only sees walls. But when you shift your focus from what's gone to what can still be created, from what you don't have to what you can give, something changes deeply inside you. You stop acting like a beggar of emotions and start becoming the builder of your own life. Letting go of this mindset of lack is an act of bravery, not because it fades right away, but because you make the choice to stop feeding it. Real abundance starts inside long before it shows outside. So instead of saying, "I need this to be happy," try saying, "I already have what I need to begin." Then watch what happens. When you stop seeing yourself as someone who lacks and start living as someone who already has enough, life begins to respond differently, because the world reflects the energy you carry. 3. What is yours only comes when you are at peace with yourself. There's a big difference between wanting something and being ruled by your own will. When your desire is balanced, you act calmly and think clearly. But when that desire turns into an obsession, it begins to steal your energy, your focus, and your peace of mind. Soon, everything in your world starts to spin around one single thing, and you end up losing what you're looking for and forgetting what you already have. Stoicism teaches us to look at our thoughts from a distance, with patience and attention. Epictetus once said, "Don't let yourself be dragged away by what passes through your mind, just watch it. And that's what a receptive mind is. A receptive mind isn't weak or lazy, it's steady but gentle. It's a mind that has learned not to believe every thought, that knows not everything can be controlled, and that the best way to live is to stay in the present moment, calm and peaceful, without the heavy need to control the future, just to feel safe. When desire takes charge, you stop seeing the truth and start seeing only worry and fear. Everything begins to feel urgent, limited, or not enough. And the more effort you make, the more stressed and far from peace you become. But when you breathe deeply, slow down and simply notice your thoughts, something inside you starts to shift. You begin to see things as they really are, not as your restless mind makes them appear. In that moment, you trade the illusion of control for the calm of acceptance, and that's when real freedom begins. An open mind is like a wide window. Fresh air comes in, sunlight passes through, and new things can enter. It doesn't try to hold on to time or close the door to surprises. Living this way isn't about giving up on your goals. It's walking your path with peace, without mixing results with worth or control with calm. You act with purpose, but also accept with wisdom. You give your best, but you don't exhaust yourself trying to force what doesn't depend only on you. The truth is simple. Stop clinging to what's missing. Let what belongs to you come when the moment is right. When you stop forcing, the road appears. When you stop chasing, what's yours comes naturally. The Stoic mind, when peaceful and open, sees what truly matters. It becomes more present and more aware of the quiet signs of life, the tiny miracles that only those who slow down can notice. And that's when the words of the great teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, shine like light. Letting go is freedom, and freedom is the root of happiness. As long as you hold on to anger, fear, hurry, or possessions, you can't truly be free. That's why letting go of control isn't a sign of weakness. It's inner growth. It means making room to see farther. It's stopping the fight against reality and learning to walk beside it. The most precious things in life don't appear when you demand them. They come when you are ready. And being ready means being calm, aware, and fully present. So breathe. Let go of tension, of rush, and above all, let go of fear. Say to yourself, "My mind flows." That's your promise of peace. It's the first step toward living with more ease, more clarity, and more freedom. But there's something important to notice. If you've been trying for a long time to grow, learn, and step out of your comfort zone, but still haven't managed to, you might be facing something you don't even see. I know what that is. Anxiety. Anxiety is like a quiet snake that sneaks up on you without making a sound. It slowly fills your days, months, and even years with unease. Living like that is like being sick all the time. But there is a way out. The Stoic philosophers, along with modern psychology, discovered a path that can help you get rid of this. I myself managed to overcome my anxiety. I made a video showing how you can do the same, and it's in the first comment. Click the link in the first comment and start freeing yourself from this feeling of anxiety. 4. Life rewards those who act with presence, not in haste. We live in an age where being fast is seen as being valuable. Everyone runs, posts, produces, and compares themselves as if moving quickly meant growing. But the truth is, rushing almost never builds anything. It only hides the lack of real direction. People who always move too fast are usually trying to run away from their own silence. Yet it's inside that silence where true understanding lives. The ancient Stoics knew this well. A rushed mind is a blind mind because it doesn't notice what's happening now, it only rushes through it. Seneca once said, "Those in a hurry live as if time were their enemy." And that's exactly what we do. We wake up already feeling late, work nervously, and go to bed with guilt, believing we didn't do enough. Life turns into a loop of pressure and disappointment. But presence is the cure. Acting with presence means being completely there in each action, not split between what's gone and what hasn't happened yet. It means giving your full attention to what's right in front of you. The talk you're having, the job you're doing, the breath you're taking, the step you're walking. Presence turns ordinary moments into something special. It makes washing dishes an act of awareness, turns work into practice, and transforms silence into a moment of learning. When you are truly present, time stops being your enemy and becomes your guide. It no longer pushes you, it supports you. Hurry wants to reach the end fast, presence wants to reach it well, and that difference changes everything about a person's life. The Stoics taught that real control isn't about how fast the world moves, but about how you stand before it. A rushed soldier loses battles. A rushed thinker loses wisdom. A rushed worker loses meaning. A mind that lives in the present sees what an anxious mind misses, that everything has its natural rhythm, and trying to rush it is like pulling a flower before it blossoms. Think of a blacksmith. He doesn't hit the metal in anger or carelessness. He moves with rhythm, purpose, and focus. Every strike matters, every pause matters too. That's how your actions should be, steady, aware, and full of purpose. The blacksmith who rushes breaks the metal. The patient one shapes it into a sword. Life works the same way. What you do in a hurry fades. What you do with presence lasts forever. To act with presence is to see that it's not how much you do that brings change, but how deeply you do it. It's doing fewer things, but doing them with full attention. It's working without losing yourself. It's moving forward without losing your purpose. Presence is where peace and discipline meet. It's when the body acts while the mind stays calm. When you slow down, the world doesn't stop, it aligns. What used to be confusion becomes clear. What felt urgent turns into direction, and what once seemed far begins to come closer on its own. Because life doesn't reward the ones who rush, it rewards those who walk with awareness, not the ones who arrive first, but the ones who arrive whole. So before you speed up again, ask yourself, why am I in such a hurry? The answer is almost always fear. Fear of wasting time, falling behind, or not being enough. But there's nothing more tragic than spending your whole life rushing and realizing too late that you forgot to live. Presence is the state of a soul that has learned to trust. It's the point where haste fades and true purpose begins. So take a deep breath, look around and move with awareness. Life isn't about the race, it's about the rhythm you choose right now. 5. Trust is the soil from which everything can grow. Trust isn't about standing still and hoping things will work out. It's about finding the courage to keep going, even when your heart is racing. It means continuing to walk, even when the road ahead is blurry and you can't see where it leads. Real trust isn't foolish or careless. It's a quiet strength inside you that whispers, I don't know how everything will turn out yet, but I know I'll be okay. Epictetus once said that what shakes us isn't what happens, but the way we see it. That's where real confidence begins. It starts the moment you change how you look at what you can't control. When you stop trying to grab everything so tightly, what remains is what truly matters, you, your way of acting, your calm, and your bravery to face what's in front of you. The confidence of someone wise isn't blind faith or fake happiness. It's something that grows with time, with every challenge faced and lesson learned. It gets stronger each time you look back and notice that what once felt like an ending was really a doorway to something new. What hurt you also helped you grow. The things you couldn't change ended up teaching you more than the ones that went smoothly. That's when Alan Watts's words become clear. When you struggle to stay above water, you sink. But when you stop fighting and allow yourself to float, the water holds you up. That's what trust is. It's stopping the fight against the present and allowing it to carry you. When you trust, your thoughts slow down. You stop wasting your energy trying to guess the future. You stop losing your peace trying to control how people act, how things unfold, or how life should respond. You start breathing with ease because you finally see that your job is to do your best, and the rest doesn't belong to you. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept without pride, let go without resistance." That's exactly the heart of it. Trust means releasing what isn't yours and putting your effort only where it truly counts. And do you know what changes when you start to live this way? You stop suffering before things even happen. You rest better at night. You listen more deeply. You become more present, whole, and light. You begin to forgive yourself, understanding that perfection isn't required. And you live with more peace, not because life has become easy, but because you've become stronger and calmer in the face of the unknown. So today, don't look for all the answers. Don't try to guess tomorrow. Just take one sure step forward with courage, clarity, and peace. That's what trust really means, walking ahead, even when nothing is certain. 6. Peace does not come from the result, but from the attitude towards the process. Most people think peace will finally arrive when everything is perfect, when the bills are paid, the relationship is stable, and life feels organized. But that's one of the biggest tricks the mind plays. Because as long as you believe peace depends on how things turn out, you'll always be chasing it. Real peace isn't a trophy waiting at the end. It's the way you choose to walk every step of the journey. Seneca once said, "Whoever lives waiting for tomorrow loses today." When you become obsessed with results, you turn the present into a hallway of worry. You keep pushing peace into the future, as if you can only rest once you've won. But life isn't a race. It's a slow, ongoing creation. And what really matters isn't where you arrive, but how you stay balanced as you move forward. Stoicism reminds us that the only place we truly own is the present moment. The outcome depends on countless things outside our control: luck, timing, other people. But the process is where our will and choices have real power. And it's in this space that your true character shows. The wise don't act kindly just to secure a reward. They act kindly because doing what's right is its own reward. Think about a sculptor. He spends long hours shaping a block of stone, knowing it might not end up exactly as he dreamed. Still, he continues, patient and focused. His joy comes from the act itself, the rhythm of the chisel, the sound of the marble, the connection between his hands and the creation. If he only cared about the finished piece, he'd give up before completing it. Life works the same way. Those who find value in the process never lose their sense of direction, even when the results take time. The problem is that we were taught to judge everything by success and failure. We want praise before effort, fruit before roots. Living this way keeps us tense, tired, and comparing ourselves all the time. The mind becomes a storm, always fighting between what is and what should be. No heart can find calm while battling the present. Epictetus taught that peace doesn't come from forcing reality to meet your wishes. It comes from adjusting your expectations to reality. That's not giving up. It's wisdom. It's understanding that life doesn't revolve around your plans. It shapes you through them. When you shift your focus from the outcome to the process, your entire experience changes. Working, waiting, failing, and learning stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like growth. Peace begins when you recognize what belongs to you and what doesn't. When you give your best to what you can do and let time handle the rest. Patience, in this sense, is a form of quiet trust. It says, "I'm doing my best now, and that's enough." And that thought alone is freeing. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, "Do what must be done, with fairness, with calm, and without rushing." That's the heart of the Stoic spirit, acting with strength but without worry, and receiving whatever comes with humility. Because in truth, the outcome is just a picture. The process is the whole story. Real peace is calm, steady, and simple. It doesn't rely on approval or certainty. It appears the moment you realize you don't need to control the ending to give your best right now. It's the gentle balance between effort and acceptance, between action and surrender. If peace only exists for you when life is perfect, then most of your days will feel like battle. But if you learn to stay peaceful while doing what you can, the world can no longer shake you. Because peace isn't in what happens, it's in how you decide to respond. So stop waiting for the right time to feel at peace. It's not hiding in the future, it's in the way you live this very moment. Do what's in your hands, welcome what comes, and keep walking with lightness. This is how every process turns into a journey, and every journey becomes peace. 7. Inner silence is the soil where trust flourishes. In a world that grows louder every day, silence has become something rare, and yet it's one of the most important things we need. Not the silence outside, made of quiet rooms or soft sounds, but the silence inside you, the one where your thoughts rest, your feelings settle, and your truth begins to appear. It's in this inner quiet that trust is created, where it deepens and becomes strong. Because trust doesn't make noise, it takes root. And roots don't grow when everything around them is shaking. The noise in your mind is what steals your peace the most. It shows up as endless worries, constant comparisons, thoughts that go in circles and fears that keep repeating. This noise makes you feel unsafe, as if something bad is always about to happen. And the more you try to think it through, the louder it gets. The anxious mind believes that control comes from thinking more, but real control comes from stillness. Epictetus once said, "No man is free until he masters himself, and that mastery starts when you quiet what doesn't matter." Inner silence isn't emptiness, it's awareness. It's when you stop chasing every answer and start hearing them inside. It's when fear and doubt fade, and a wiser voice speaks up, the calm, timeless voice that reminds you that you've overcome before, that you can handle what comes, and that life moves in its own rhythm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A calm mind is a man's strength." This short but powerful line sums up the Stoic truth. Real confidence doesn't come from knowing the future, but from being steady in the present. When your mind quiets down, it sees what noise once hid, the paths, the chances, the right move to make. Reaching this inner silence is a daily practice. It starts the moment you stop reacting to everything. When you don't reply right away to a comment, when you take a second before defending yourself, when you breathe before deciding, that's when you start building calm. Over time, that small pause turns into space, and that space becomes inner power. Seneca once said, "No one can think clearly while being swept away by emotion." Silence is what stops that pull. It puts a gap between what you feel and what you do. And when you learn to live this way, you find something surprising. True confidence isn't born from certainty, but from the peace of not needing it. Imagine a lake. When the water is rough, you can't see the bottom, but when it settles, everything becomes clear. The same happens inside you. When your mind is noisy with worry, pressure, and fear, you can't see your own strength. But when silence appears, your confidence rises naturally, reflecting who you really are. Practicing silence doesn't mean running away from the world. It means preparing to face it wisely. It's a form of inner discipline. You can begin in small ways. Turn off notifications, take a walk without music, breathe deeply before sleeping, or write your thoughts instead of reacting right away. Each quiet moment brings you closer to your true self, and the closer you get, the less you crave approval, control, or certainty. Confidence grows in this stillness because it is born from clarity. People who listen to themselves don't get lost in noise. Those who know their own center aren't shaken by chaos around them. Silence lets you hear what truly matters, and when you hear, you act with strength. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why can face any how." Silence is where that why becomes clear. It shows you not only what you must do, but also what you can let go of. It removes what's unnecessary and brings you back to what counts. That's why inner silence is the birthplace of trust. It connects you to what stays steady in a changing world. When you learn to listen to that quiet space within, you understand that you don't have to shout to be understood or hurry to arrive. Everything meant for you unfolds in its time as long as your soil, the mind, is calm, and that soil is peace itself. The peace of those who don't react to every noise, who trust the process, and who know that silence isn't the absence of sound, it's the start of true wisdom. 8. Conscious surrender is the point where life and reason meet. There's a deep difference between giving up and letting go. Giving up happens when you quit because you feel weak. Letting go happens when you accept things with understanding. One is born from fear, the other from clarity. Stoicism teaches that real strength isn't about fighting what is real, but about moving in harmony with it. Conscious letting go is when a person stops struggling against life's current and starts walking with it, with clear vision, calm, and purpose. Seneca once said, "Fate leads those who agree and drags those who resist." Inside this sentence is one of life's greatest truths. Life is always in motion. It doesn't stop just because we want it to. The more you try to force it to match your personal plans, the more it pushes you back toward its natural rhythm. Pain comes from this fight. The ego wants control, but reality doesn't listen. True letting go is born from maturity, from seeing that peace lives in balance, between effort and acceptance, between will and flow, between logic and mystery. Epictetus taught that calm comes from knowing the difference between what depends on you and what doesn't. That's where conscious surrender begins. You act, you give your best, you face what you can control, and when things still don't go as planned, you choose acceptance, not because you're giving up, but because you understand. You see that your part ends where life's plan begins. Conscious surrender is both thoughtful and spiritual. It's thoughtful because it knows human limits, and spiritual because it trusts that life knows what it's doing. It's the moment when the heart and the mind stop arguing and begin to work together. The mind shows what needs to be done. Surrender allows it to unfold with peace. Think of an archer. They prepare their bow, adjust their stance, take a deep breath, and let the arrow fly. The second it leaves their hands, the rest is out of their control. The wind, the air, the distance, all of it plays a part. If the archer keeps holding the arrow, they'll never shoot. And if they panic every time the shot goes wrong, they lose focus and miss again. A wise archer does their best and then trusts. That's what it means to surrender with awareness, to act with care, release with peace, and accept the result without fear. Life asks for this same balance, but we often confuse letting go with being lazy. We think letting go means doing nothing, when really it means acting fully and then releasing the need to control what comes next. It's living with responsibility, but without the stress of obsession. It's walking with purpose, but without fear. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept what life gives you, for it was meant for you." This reminds us that there's a greater order shaping everything, one we can only see clearly when we stop fighting it. Conscious surrender is recognizing that order. It's when the ego, exhausted from forcing life, finally rests and finds peace in that rest. There's incredible strength in letting go. When you stop fearing loss, you open space for new gains. When you stop trying to prove your worth, you rediscover your freedom. When you stop demanding instant results, you begin to build something that endures. Letting go doesn't weaken you. It brings you back into alignment. Logic whispers, "Do your best." Life answers, "Trust the rest." In this quiet exchange, the soul grows wiser. You start to see that total control is impossible, and that wisdom means moving with life, not against it. Conscious surrender is the meeting point between the human and the divine, between effort and faith, between reason and wonder. When you learn to surrender consciously, a peaceful silence rises inside you. The fear of failure fades, tension loosens, and your heart moves in its natural rhythm again. It's as if the whole universe breathes beside you. You finally understand that everything meant for you will come, at the right time, in the right way. And maybe this is what the Stoics wanted us to know. To live well means to act with reason and to accept with peace. To see that surrender isn't the end of effort, it's the start of wisdom. Because in truth, life was never against you. It was only waiting for you to stop fighting it and start walking with it. 9. The mistake of chasing too much. The harder you try to force peace, the more chaos you create inside yourself. The tighter you try to hold everything together, the more lost you become. That's the strange twist of seeking peace. Too much effort turns into the very thing that blocks it. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, said something both simple and deep. Don't wish for things to happen your way, but wish for them to unfold as they're meant to. That's when you'll feel calm. Yet most of us do the opposite. We try to push life forward, rush time, and demand quick results or clear answers. And when reality doesn't match our plans, we drown in frustration. Real peace doesn't come from forcing, it grows from allowing. Picture your mind as a quiet lake reflecting the moon. If you reach out and try to grab the reflection, the water ripples and the image disappears. But if you stay still, breathe slowly, and let the surface rest, the reflection returns, soft, bright, and clear. Life works the same way. What you try to control out of fear slips away from your hands, but what you welcome with trust flows toward you naturally. Letting go doesn't mean quitting, it means shifting your ground from fear to understanding. When you stop battling for control, something inside softens. The noise quiets down, your body eases, and things that once felt far away begin to move closer on their own. There's no secret trick to this. It's simply a change in how you see and act. Stoicism doesn't tell you to throw away your dreams or forget your goals. It just reminds you to slow down, to let the world be as it is, instead of demanding it to bend to your wishes. That's where real strength lives. When you act out of fear, you rush and panic. When you act from trust, you move with calm and purpose, and that's what changes outcomes. Seneca once said that true happiness is enjoying the present moment without depending on what's next. That's pure wisdom, because a person who's at peace with today will never be trapped by tomorrow. So take a breath. Stop chasing happiness as if it's hiding somewhere far away. It appears the moment you stop fighting what's already here. You don't need to beg for love, prove your worth, or carry guilt from the past. Stoic acceptance isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's choosing to care about what truly matters. It's trusting life without believing you must control every part of it. When this understanding settles in, something new awakens inside you. A quiet kind of strength, one that doesn't rush or demand, but leads you gently with steadiness and peace. If you're hearing these words right now, maybe this is your moment to begin. Say it clearly and with confidence. I choose to trust, and know that these aren't just words, they're a new way of living. As Andy Warhol said, when you stop wanting something too much, that's when it comes to you. 10. Act as if it were already reality. You don't draw in what you want when your heart is full of fear. You attract what you truly live and feel in harmony with. The mind needs proof, and if you keep acting like someone who's still waiting, you're showing that deep down you don't really believe. But when you begin to walk like someone who already trusts their path, everything shifts. The air around you changes. It's not about magic. It's about the way you think and act. You want trust? Then behave like someone others can count on. You want respect? Stand tall and speak with calm strength. You want healthy connections? Be a place where people feel safe. Epictetus once said, "First decide who you want to be, then do what's needed to become that person." That's the real secret that unlocks the door. Many people wait to feel ready before they move. But in truth, it works the other way around. You move first, and the feeling follows. If you want plenty in life, start being thankful every day. If you want love, practice being fully present. If you want peace, stop feeding the thoughts that make you worry. The world doesn't have to change before you do. You change the world through the energy you bring to it. When you stop asking life to give you more and start building what you want, everything begins to answer differently. Not by chance, but because you finally start to match the same energy as what you wish to attract. If these words speak to your heart, write this. Today I act as if it's already real. But more than writing it, live that truth in your daily steps. Your new reality starts the moment you decide to act like someone who already believes it's possible. And if you're enjoying this message, think about joining the channel. By becoming a member, you support its growth and gain access to special content. Click the link in the description and become a member today. Now, let's return to the message. 11. How to apply calm in practice without escaping reality. Understanding is only the first step, but living what you've understood is what truly changes everything. Talking about letting go, trusting life, and staying in the present sounds easy and beautiful, but it becomes hard when your bills are due, when your heart still aches, or when life feels like it's moving too fast. It's exactly in those moments that Stoicism stops being just an idea and turns into real strength. The first teaching is simple but deep. Calm doesn't come from trying to control every little thing. It comes from seeing things clearly, and to see clearly, you have to be here, now. Before trying to fix the whole world, pause and look around. Notice what's keeping you stuck and ask yourself, what am I pushing too hard? What am I so afraid to lose? Maybe it's someone who left and you wish would return. Maybe it's an old dream that no longer fits who you are, but you still cling to out of pride. Or maybe it's a memory that hurts and you refuse to forgive, or even the fear of beginning again. Pain grows when you fight against reality, but something inside starts to heal when you honestly say, "This is where I am, and even if it's not where I wanted to be, this is where I can start anew." Think about someone who just ended a relationship. The wish to get back together, to fix what's broken, feels impossible to let go of. But peace begins when that person dares to say, "It's over. And even though I miss it, I need to stop trying to rescue what's already gone." This isn't pretending you don't care, it's choosing a different path instead of drowning in sadness. It's standing up, breathing deeply, taking care of yourself, and moving forward. It's stopping the chase for what's behind you and walking toward what still can bloom. That's when real rebuilding starts, step by step through new habits, real connections, and a growing understanding that you are not lost. You are rediscovering yourself. That's what being present means. That's what real strength looks like. Or imagine someone who just lost their job. The mind panics, paints dark pictures, and starts running in circles for a way out. But calm returns when they stop for a moment and say, "Okay, it happened. I can't undo yesterday, but I can act today. I can update my resume, spend less, ask for help, and start again." Between panic and peace, that's where true strength is born. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What's in front of you is enough. Just act." Act, not like someone lost in fear, but like someone choosing wisely where to step next. And when the mind drifts into endless worries, what if it doesn't work? What if it never gets better? Bring it back with a simple question. What can I do right now with what I have? Sometimes the answer is small. Tidy up your space, take a deep breath, or write down what you feel even if it stings. These small acts are like anchors. They pull you back to the present, the only moment where change can actually happen. And when life feels like chaos, remember one of the hardest yet most freeing truths of Stoicism. It's not the event that destroys you, it's the way you judge it. So, pay attention to how you speak to yourself. Don't say, "I can't handle this." Say, "This is what I need to face today." Notice how your energy shifts when you do, because what shapes you isn't only what you think, it's how you talk to yourself. Many times, pain grows not from the hurt itself, but from comparing, blaming, and rushing yourself to be better, faster, stronger. That's where guilt and pressure live, and that's what steals your peace. Respect your own rhythm. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Don't try to run a marathon at someone else's pace. Remember, every flower blooms at its own time. Seneca once said, "It's not because things are hard that we don't try, it's because we don't try that they stay hard." And sometimes trying just means continuing, even if slowly. These ideas don't work like magic, but they do create miracles, the kind that free you from depending on the outside world and help you build strength from within. And once that happens, you stop chasing what you want so desperately. Because when you stand firm, what belongs to you will naturally find its way to you. 12. True strength lies in the mind that knows how to receive. There's a big difference between wanting something and being ruled by your own will. When a wish is balanced, you act with calm and see things clearly, but when it turns into an obsession, it starts to steal your energy, your focus, and your inner peace. Soon, everything around you begins to circle that one thing, and you end up losing what you're chasing and forgetting what you already have. Stoicism teaches us to watch our thoughts from a distance with a calm and careful mind. Epictetus once said, "Don't be carried away by what passes through your mind, just notice it." That's what it means to have a receptive mind. A receptive mind isn't weak or lazy. It's strong but gentle. It's a mind that has learned not to believe every thought, that knows not everything can be controlled, and that the best way to live is to stay in the present, calm, without the heavy need to predict the future just to feel safe. When desire takes over, you stop seeing truth and start seeing only anxiety. Everything begins to look urgent or rare, as if you're always missing something, and the more you push, the more tense and far from peace you become. But when you breathe deeply, slow down, and just watch your thoughts, something inside you softens. You start to see things as they really are, not as your restless mind imagines them. At that moment, you trade the illusion of control for the clarity of acceptance. And that brings real freedom. An open mind is like a window wide open. Fresh air enters, light passes through, and new things come in. It doesn't try to freeze time or close the door to surprises. Living this way isn't giving up your dreams or goals. It's walking the path with peace without mixing results with worth or control with calm. You act with purpose, but also accept with wisdom. You give your best, but don't tire yourself trying to force what isn't fully in your hands. The truth is simple. Stop clinging to what's missing. Let what belongs to you come when it's meant to. When you stop pushing, the road appears. When you stop chasing, what's yours finds you. The Stoic mind, when calm and open, sees what truly matters. It becomes more present, more aware of life's quiet signs and the tiny miracles that only those who slow down can notice. And that's when the words of the master Thich Nhat Hanh shine like a light. To let go is to be free, and freedom is the root of happiness. As long as you cling to anger, fear, hurry, or possessions, you cannot be truly free. So letting go of control isn't weakness. It's inner strength. It's creating space to see farther. It's stopping the fight with reality and learning to walk beside it. The most precious things in life don't come when you demand them. They come when you are ready. And being ready means being here, calm and aware. So breathe. Let go of the tightness, the rush, and most of all, let go of fear. Say to yourself, "My mind flows." That's your promise to peace. It's the first step toward living with more lightness, more clarity, and more freedom. But there's something important you need to notice. If you've been trying for a long time to grow, learn, and leave your comfort zone, but still can't, it might be because of something you haven't noticed yet. And I know what that is. Anxiety. Anxiety is like a quiet snake that sneaks up on you without being seen. It makes you feel unwell for days, months, and even years. Living that way is like being sick all the time, but there is a way out. The Stoic philosophers, together with modern psychology, found a path to help you overcome this. I myself managed to free myself from anxiety. I made a video that explains how you can do the same, and it's in the first comment. Click the link in that first comment and begin your journey to free yourself from this feeling of anxiety. 13. Over-control is fear disguised as planning. There's a thin border between careful planning and the need to control everything. At first, they may look alike. Both involve organizing, predicting, and preparing. But the real difference lies in the feeling behind each. Planning comes from trust. Control is born from fear. One builds the road, the other tries to own it. And it's exactly this desperate attempt to rule over the unpredictable that drains your peace and wears out your mind. Fear is a clever teacher that hides behind a mask. It pretends to be logic, responsibility, or caution. We tell ourselves, "I just want to make sure everything goes right," not noticing that what we truly want is to make sure nothing escapes our control. But Stoicism reminds us of something simple and unchanging. Most things are not in our hands. The more we try to grip them, the more trapped we feel inside our own worries. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens that troubles you, but wanting it to happen differently." That's exactly what over-control is, refusing to accept what's real. It's fear pretending to be reason. You convince yourself that you're being careful when deep down, you're just trying to protect yourself from uncertainty. But that safety you're chasing doesn't exist. The world shifts, people evolve, plans twist and turn. Trying to predict every move is fighting against life itself. Planning is getting ready, controlling is trying to rewrite destiny. And that choice has a heavy cost: nervousness, exhaustion, and endless frustration. The controlling mind is always alert, calculating what could go wrong. It never rests in the now. It's always living in a tomorrow that hasn't come yet. And when that tomorrow arrives, it's already worried about the next one. It's a never-ending loop of pressure. Seneca warned in his letters, What we fear most is often smaller than the fear itself. That's what control does. It creates invisible monsters. You plan every detail not out of confidence, but out of fear of failing. And when fear drives your actions, you lose clarity. You start confusing being prepared with being paranoid, and being careful with being stiff. Wisdom lives in balance. The Stoic plans what he can, but accepts whatever comes his way. He sets his direction, but doesn't cling to how things must end. He organizes his path, but doesn't try to stop life from flowing naturally. The wise person knows surprises are part of a larger design, and that flexibility is stronger than control. Picture a sailor. He studies the map, knows the winds, and adjusts his sails, but he also respects that the ocean moves on its own. He plans, yes, but he trusts too. The controller, on the other hand, tries to command the wind. And when it changes direction, he panics. The difference between them isn't preparation, it's calmness. Trying to control everything might look like protection, but it actually causes more pain, because when you hold too tightly, you block life from moving freely. You try to keep love safe, ensure success, and chase security, but end up losing the very things you wanted to save. Love fades under control, success slips away when driven by fear, and security disappears when clutched too tightly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept what destiny sends you and face it with courage." That's the way of the wise. They know life is full of uncertainty, and that peace doesn't come from removing risk. It comes from building strength to face it. Planning is helpful. Trying to control everything is pointless. Fear lives on the belief that everything depends on you. Confidence grows when you understand that many forces in life don't need your control. They just need your awareness. When this truth sinks in, life becomes lighter. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means freeing your actions from the grip of worry. It's doing what you can with intention, but without the panic of needing every result to be perfect. It's focusing on what's truly yours, your effort, your thoughts, your behavior, and allowing the rest to unfold naturally. Planning is a tool, control is a cage, and the wall between them is built from fear. When trust enters the mind, the body loosens, the heart slows, and peace returns. Because in the end, it's not the outside world that makes you lose control. It's the fear of not being able to handle it. Trust is the remedy. Plan with wisdom, but leave space for life to do its part. In that space, between your effort and what the world returns, true peace is found. 14. The blocks that prevent you from trusting and letting go. Everyone says things like let go, trust the journey, and stop trying to control everything. In theory, it sounds simple, even easy. But when the real moment comes, when it's time to walk away from someone, stop insisting on something that no longer works, or accept that you're not in control. Something deep inside you fights back. This resistance hides under the mask of protection, as if staying in chaos were safer than facing the emptiness of a new beginning. But that's exactly what keeps you stuck. The first enemy that shows up is fear. Fear of losing, failing, or ending up with nothing. But think about it. How many times have you held on so tightly to something that you didn't even notice how much it hurt you? It's like squeezing a thorn. The harder you hold it, the more it hurts. Epictetus said that nothing truly great is destroyed by outside losses, only by our thoughts about those losses. You don't need to throw away what matters, but you may need to let go of the idea that something only has value if you fight to keep it at all costs. Sometimes, letting go is the only way to save what's still good, even the goodness inside yourself. Another obstacle is impatience. We live surrounded by hurry, goals, and comparisons. We want results before even living the process. But having patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means being awake and aware. Think of a freshly cut tree. It looks empty, sad, even broken, but it's in the quiet waiting that it gathers strength to bloom again. Real fruit doesn't grow with a shout. It grows at the right time. This takes trust, not blind trust, but peaceful confidence that what's unseen today may bloom tomorrow. Another challenge is rigidity. It hurts when life doesn't follow the plan you made. But did life fail? Or were your expectations too heavy? It's like building a castle out of sand and then blaming the ocean when the waves come. The mistake isn't in the sea, it's in the illusion that anything lasts forever. Too high expectations become invisible traps, and most of our pain doesn't come from what happened, but from the perfect story we built in our minds of how things should have been. Seneca once said, "If you want everything to go your way, you'll be unhappy, but if you accept what life brings, you'll find peace." Being flexible isn't weakness, it's emotional wisdom. Then comes pride. That voice inside says, "If I let go, it means I lost." But letting go isn't losing. It's understanding the right moment. It's being humble and realizing we're a part of nature, not above it. Like everything in nature, we move through cycles and seasons. When we try to force things out of rhythm, nothing flows, not because we didn't try, but because we're out of tune with reality. Think of electricity. You can't see it, but if you touch it the wrong way, you'll feel it. Life works the same. Ignoring its rules doesn't help. It only delays things. When you learn this, you begin to move with life, not against it, and that's when everything starts to flow again, softly, easily, naturally. Deep down, behind all these struggles, there's one hidden desire: control. The wish to control people's feelings, the timing of events, or the direction of life itself. But life isn't a machine to design, it's a moving river. And those who try to hold the water with their hands end up tired and still lose what really matters. You don't have to let go of everything at once. Start little by little. Release a small burden today, a judgment tomorrow, a conversation that always repeats and goes nowhere. It's like removing extra weight from your bag. You don't have to throw everything out. Just drop what no longer helps you move forward. Then watch. Nothing in your world will fall apart. In fact, something new will grow inside you. Peace, lightness, and freedom. And don't make this mistake, thinking that letting go means not caring. That's wrong. When you release with awareness, you care more truly, not out of need but out of presence, not out of fear but out of real love. It's the difference between holding someone's hand and pulling them by the arm. One act welcomes, the other suffocates. Letting go is trust, and trust isn't standing still. It's putting your energy where it truly matters, in the present moment, in yourself, and in what's within your reach. 15. Letting go of control is an act of courage, not weakness. From a young age, we are taught to chase control. Control over what will happen, over results, over people, and even over our own emotions. We grow up believing that safety means having everything in our hands, that we'll only be okay when nothing escapes our grasp. But the harder we try to control life, the more it slips away. Control that comes from fear is not real strength, it's a kind of cage. True courage in this sense is the opposite. It's the ability to let go of what cannot be held without losing trust in where life is leading you. Epictetus once said, "Some things depend on us and others do not." It sounds simple, but living by this truth is one of the hardest lessons anyone can learn. A person who tries to control what can't be controlled ends up fighting against their own destiny. They waste their strength trying to change the wind instead of adjusting their sails. And while doing so, they lose calm focus and peace of mind. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing wisdom instead of illusion. The bravery to release control comes from seeing clearly that not everything has to be under your command for things to work out. It's realizing that there are bigger forces at play: time, other people's choices, luck, and that resisting them only drains the little real power you have. The power to act wisely in this very moment. Fear tries to grab everything. Trust simply observes and does what it can. Seneca said, "What upsets you is not the things themselves, but the opinions you form about them." The need to control everything comes from the fear of feeling pain, fear of loss, of failure, of discomfort. But life isn't a perfect formula. It's a flow. Those who try to dominate it end up stiff and stuck. Those who move with it find another kind of strength, the strength of flexibility. The tree that refuses to bend in the wind is always the first to break. Letting go doesn't mean being lazy or careless. It means being awake and clear. It's still acting, but with calmness. It's doing your best without forcing life to follow your plan. It's taking action without clinging to the result, because the result belongs to life, not to you. When you let go, fear loses control. You stop living like a nervous commander planning every move and start behaving like a wise strategist, one who studies the ground, reads the moment, and acts with composure. Think of someone trying to hold water in their hands. The harder they squeeze, the faster it slips away. But when they open their palms gently, the water stays. That's what real control looks like. True mastery happens when you move in harmony with the natural rhythm of things, not against it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Life is opinion." If you treat every surprise or setback as a personal failure, you'll live tense and tired. But when you accept that your power has limits, you start to breathe easier. And in that breath, courage shows up. The courage to live without needing to know everything, to accept the unknown, to trust the path. Letting go of control is the same as making peace with reality. It's letting time take its course without rushing what's still growing. Like planting a seed, you water it, care for it, protect it, but you can't force it to sprout before it's ready. Real strength lies in patience, in trusting that what's unseen is already working for you. When you release control, you don't lose your power, you find it again. Because real power doesn't mean ruling the world, it means ruling yourself. It's acting calmly in chaos, accepting what happens without falling into despair. Life becomes lighter when you understand that total control is a lie. Real mastery happens inside you, and the moment you stop trying to control everything, you discover your true strength. Fear yells at you to hold tight, but courage quietly says, "Trust." And it's in that quiet voice that freedom begins. 16. Fate favors the flexible mind. Nothing in nature is stiff and lasting at the same time. Everything that endures, rivers, trees, mountains, even the human body, knows how to adapt. What cannot bend ends up breaking. What adjusts keeps standing. The human mind, however, likes to stiffen. It wants every detail to follow its plan, for people to act a certain way, and for life to move according to its timing. But destiny doesn't obey anyone's commands. That's why Seneca said, "Fate leads those who follow it and drags those who resist." A rigid mind hides pride inside it. It's the thought that we always know what's right, even when life shows us the opposite. And the tighter we hold on to that illusion, the more we suffer. Flexibility instead is a form of wisdom. It lets you change without losing who you are, and adapt without losing shape. A flexible mind isn't weak or unsure, it's aware. It understands that each moment calls for a different attitude, and that staying open is what makes the journey lighter. Imagine a sailor on the ocean. He doesn't argue with the wind. He studies it, adjusts his sails, and keeps going. The same wind that knocks down those who fight against it is the one that carries forward those who learn to flow with it. Life works the same way. Circumstances aren't good or bad, they're just what they are. What defines the result is how you respond. The Stoic doesn't wish for calm waters. He learns how to sail through any storm. Epictetus taught that the wise person lives in peace with the natural rhythm of things. He doesn't try to change the direction of the river, he just finds the best way to cross it. That's what true flexibility means, being firm without becoming stiff, keeping your values without becoming stubborn. A flexible mind doesn't sit still, it thinks smartly. It knows when to move and when to pause. Rigidity, however, is born from fear. Fear of losing control, fear of seeming fragile, fear of changing and being judged. But life doesn't stop because of fear. It keeps transforming whether we accept it or not. What separates those who grow from those who struggle is the ability to move with life's rhythm. The rigid mind tries to force the world to follow its wishes. The flexible mind learns to reshape its wishes to fit the world. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Adapt to what nature brings, whatever time gives, accept it calmly." He understood that wisdom and flexibility walk side by side. The wise person doesn't resist what cannot be avoided. They use it as a lesson. That's why destiny helps those who can adapt, because destiny itself is movement, and only those who move can keep evolving. Being flexible doesn't mean abandoning your beliefs. It means realizing there are many ways to reach the same goal. It's standing strong in your purpose, but light in your actions. It's knowing how to begin again without guilt, how to change direction without losing your way. A flexible mind sees each shift not as a problem, but as a new chance to learn and grow. Think about the seasons. None of them fight to stay the same. Winter melts into spring, summer softens into autumn, and still, nature remains complete. That's what real strength looks like, changing shapes without losing your heart. Life works the same way. When you accept movement, pain turns into wisdom, mistakes turn into lessons, and endings turn into fresh beginnings. Fate smiles at those who know how to bend without breaking, because flexibility shows trust, not in luck but in yourself. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you'll handle it with calm and understanding. When your mind reaches this state, nothing shakes it because it doesn't fight against reality. It flows with it. So when things don't happen as you hoped, don't see it as failure. See it as guidance. The universe doesn't punish, it redirects. And if you have the clarity to adjust instead of resist, you'll realize that destiny was never working against you. It was simply waiting for you to become flexible enough to walk alongside it. 17. Lightness is not an absence of responsibility. It is emotional maturity. We live in a time where many people mistake lightness for carelessness. Some think being light means avoiding rules, skipping routines, and living without responsibility, as if freedom meant doing anything without thought. But real lightness isn't about running away from life. It's about understanding what truly matters. It comes from growing up inside, not from escaping. It's born from a mind that knows what's important to carry and what's safe to leave behind. Seneca once said that a wise person doesn't carry more weight than they need. That's exactly what emotional maturity teaches. It helps you choose wisely. You learn that not everything needs to be fixed right now, not every fight is worth fighting, and not every issue belongs to you. A light mind isn't an empty one, it's a clear one. It knows what it can change and what it must simply accept. And it's in this balance that peace quietly appears. The heaviest weight rarely comes from outside. It comes from our own need to control what we can't. We get tired from trying to fix other people's problems, from caring too much about what others think, from feeling guilty for not being perfect, and from fearing to let go. Lightness starts to show up when you stop being a prisoner to these invisible pressures and start acting with awareness. To be light is to live with attention, without rushing, without guilt, and without fear screaming in your head. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our thoughts about them." Lightness begins when we start questioning those thoughts. Why do I blame myself so much? Why do I feel I must please everyone? Why do I believe that if I rest, everything will fall apart? Life becomes lighter when the mind stops creating stories about how things should be and starts accepting how they are. Emotional maturity builds true lightness. It teaches you to stay calm even when everything around you is chaotic. It helps you not take offense so easily and not react to every little thing. It's the balance between being responsible and staying peaceful. The immature person reacts without thinking. The mature person chooses how to respond. That small difference changes everything. One is like a leaf blown by every wind, while the other is like a tree, feeling the wind but staying rooted. Lightness doesn't mean avoiding responsibility. It means giving your energy to what truly matters. It's being strong in purpose and soft in attitude. It's doing what needs to be done without turning it into a burden. Those who live lightly aren't the ones who have less to do, but those who learn to act without believing the whole world depends on them. Think of someone walking on a tightrope. They move carefully on the wire, but their body isn't tense. It's focused and flexible. Every step demands balance and attention, but also gentleness. If they become stiff, they fall. If they lose focus, they fall too. The secret is the harmony between control and flow. Life works the same way. You need direction and also ease, strength, and softness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote to himself, "Accept what comes and act simply, without pride, without drama." This shows what Stoic lightness means, facing life with courage, but not drowning in emotion. A light person doesn't feel less, they feel with awareness. They learn to turn pain into understanding, failure into learning, and uncertainty into quiet trust. Lightness is a sign of deep strength. Only those who've carried heavy loads know the gift of walking freely. Only those who've been trapped by expectations understand the power of simply being. This calm strength is born from self-knowledge, from the bravery to look inside, to see what can be released, what still holds tight, and what needs to change. To be light is to stop fighting against life. It's to stop demanding that everything be fast or simple. It's to move with the natural rhythm of things, knowing that time is not your enemy. The heaviness we feel often comes from resistance. Lightness comes from letting go. So don't mix up lightness with emptiness. A light heart is actually deep, because only someone who truly understands life's weight can choose not to be crushed by it. Being light means being whole without being rigid. It means carrying duties with a calm spirit. It's knowing you can't control the wind, but you can choose how to set your sails. And when that truth sinks in, the world stays the same. But inside you, everything becomes lighter. 18. What to do to achieve what you want. Most people live trapped in the idea of results. They want to be successful, to be happy, to be admired, but they forget something very simple and true. No one can control the outcome, only the process. That's why so many end up tired, disappointed, and ready to quit. They spend all their energy worrying about what can't be changed and ignore what truly matters. When you notice yourself caught in this loop, wanting too much, expecting too much, demanding too much, it's a signal to stop. It's time to shift the pattern, turn your attention inward, and remember what truly has value. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned comes from writer Ryan Munsey. Focus on actions, not results. It sounds simple, but it changes everything about how you live. The result is a consequence. Action is a choice. You can't control if you'll get that promotion, but you can decide to give your best effort today. You can't make others love you, but you can choose to be kind and build honest connections. You can't decide the timing of things, but you can make sure you're prepared when the moment arrives. Stoicism has always taught this. Don't waste your energy begging life to give you something. Instead, offer your best to life, with focus, effort, and presence. The more you obsess over arriving, the further away everything seems. But the more you act in the moment, doing what you can today, the clearer the path becomes beneath your feet. Things might not unfold when you want them to, but if you keep planting with patience and purpose, what's meant for you will grow. Not because of luck, but because you acted with meaning. So, trust yourself. Believe that you are capable and that you deserve what you dream of. But keep your attention on what can be done right now, not on what still seems missing. Let go of the heavy weight of expectation and trade it for the steady strength of commitment. The more you chase success, the more it slips away, but the more you act with clear purpose, success quietly moves closer. Sometimes what you're searching for is already in front of you. It's just waiting for you to slow down. Open your heart and let life happen without trying to control every detail. When you do that, everything starts to flow, not because you force it, but because you're finally in peace with what is. This is where Viktor Frankl's wisdom hits like a clear truth. Don't aim at success. The more you chase it, the more it hides. Success, just like happiness, can't be hunted. Happiness happens, and so does success. You must let it unfold naturally without becoming obsessed with it, and when you finally stop chasing, you'll notice something magical. Success finds you, exactly because you stopped running after it. That's the secret. Let go, act, and allow life to unfold. Life doesn't need to be forced. It blooms on its own when you stop fighting and simply live the present with awareness. If this message helped you see things with new eyes, Keep walking this path of reflection, growth, and inner strength. Thank you for being here.